All right, so we start off. We're down 7-0 already. Get the ball. You go under center. What have I done here? Here we go. So under center, first play of the game, and they do a really good job here. We're going to clear this out, and the outside player is just going to run a basic at the 24, 25-yard line. And I think that's Nakobe Dean. He drops into the window. So Jordan Love feels like he has to throw this ball. He's already made the decision to throw it because this is what the coverage dictates. But he has to throw it over Dean right there. Throws it a little bit high, and then C.J. Gardner-Johnson really has an opportunity to get a pick on the first play of the game. They shift down, and now listen, this is what the Eagles have been doing all year. They want to get single blocks on those defensive tackles. And so they'll bring down one of their, I think this time it's Zach Romba at 53. They'll bring him down the line of scrimmage, and what that does is that's going to force you to single block. And they're just showing your cards there. What are you going to do with this action? This is what we do best. We're going to try to get your guys our good on your good and see who's better. And eventually the Packers end up running a lot of gap stuff to find success here because they know this isn't going to work. But they run split flow here. And, of course, we just get beat on the backside. It's just really, really tough. Now, this is just personal preference, probably from being an offensive lineman. But the first third and long of the game, for me, you almost throw a pick on the first play. You get nothing on the second. Now you go empty. And we're going to see this early in the game. The Green Bay Packers tackles are looking in at the ball, which I can't believe they're doing that to the degree that they are. But you're going empty in the red zone, pop going the wrong direction. So you're on the 15-yard line. So you got all the noise from a very, very raucous Philly crowd at Lincoln Financial in this situation. And the choice to go, obviously you're going to try to do a quick through. Now, I think they run quarters up top and two-man underneath, right? So they're taking away the short throws at the sticks. So you see in the bottom, he's doing a quick look. He looks up top. There's nothing there. Now, he can let the ball go right now on the top side, but he sees that guy in his face. Was lucky Nolan Smith almost gets him right here. But we just get beat. And it's only single block. You got two chips. You got the center going to 98. And really just push, pull, arm over. And that's throw the ball away. And it's just a bad, even if you don't get it, it's just a bad start to the game when you give up a pressure there. And listen, obviously, you don't, as an offensive lineman, you're not expecting to lose there. And you're hoping the ball gets out quick. And I'm sure when they put that play in, they're like, hey, don't worry, guys, we're going to get the ball out quick. But for some reason, the ball's maybe not coming out as quick as what was hoped for. So they just reduce their front. They're really, it's just they call this a 34, but they just have a reduced front. This looks like a 325. And this is where, tough sport, man, hits the fan. So low man wins here. The problem with these shots, and this is where he gets a stinger. I think it's a stinger. And if it is, it could be a direct headshot, but usually these things are like a glancing blow where somebody just hits you on the side of the head, and you just get one of those and it pinches your nerves, your nerve in your neck, and everything again, it feels like your arm's on fire. It drops down. You can't move it for a second. You got to shake it out, do some push-ups, whatever. But this is, first, this kid played unbelievable. But and really, when you talk about setting the tone early and getting punched in the mouth, this guy did a great job, including this play, quite frankly. But hopefully, this is a short-term one that where you don't see Jenkins having a problem recovering his strength over the couple of weeks or months. It's more of a couple of days. But it's really unfortunate because, he gets beaten the first series and everything. But this is one of the better guys, especially in this game, one of the most important players on your team, because he's probably being asked to single block a lot because we know that on the other side, whether it's Jonathan Davis, Any of the Georgia guys, basically, you're going to go over there and go, okay, we got a real problem. So, not a great way to start. Shotgun offset here. And they do kind of a reverse orbit. And there's just room to grow here. I'm just talking about footwork. And again, we talk about, listen, you can scheme all you want. And schematically, they have this pegged. You got a 7 technique. It looks like he's going to spike inside. You got a 2-eye. And so Rasheed Walker has to understand pad level down, good footwork, okay, and slam back and create a hole on that spike 7. So Tucker Kraft does a pretty good job here. But because we're not aware of that 7, he just gets, Rasheed Walker talking about, he gets pushed out of the way. Instead of creating a hole, the linebacker goes over the top. He doesn't drive back on that 7 technique, and the hole could be right off of his ass. But instead, Josh Jacobs has to bounce it, corner, and the linebacker get in on the play. Now, it's a good run. I mean, it's a 5-yard run. You're winning, right? But you want to talk about making big plays and make people pay for being too anticipatory with the linebacker movement. This is how you do it. Didn't quite get it done. So this is what I'm showing. Look at the eyes of Zach Tom here. I mean, how do you still there? Now finally gets to Nolan Smith. Inside move, 9 nights, sack, 14-yard loss. Again, these are, if you're at home, I don't want to say these are unforced errors, but these are errors because of the crowd noise, but also because I just can tell you from personal experience, like there's no way from a body alignment standpoint, I can look this direction and then I'm going against one of the better athletes in the National Football League. I'm kicking back and moving my head over. My body's realigning, all this. Oh, he goes back inside. I got a real problem. So your footwork everything gets affected by that. It's unfortunate they did it that way. I was surprised. A lot of teams are using the guard to do this because it's easier to see, but I don't know. So this for me, this is his first interception. And this for me, like this is on Wicks. This is a catcher incompletion, period. No exceptions. It just cannot happen. And Darius Slay is a great player. But as a quarterback, you can't throw the ball up in those situations and trust your guy if that ball is going to get caught by the other team. I don't care how, what a great job the defensive back does here. If you don't win, turn into the defensive player, take a PI, anything but that. Now, this is Josh Myers is coming up on contract. And for me, these are the things you got to start thinking about. Are we position blocking with our feet? Are we trying to drive and move? Are we trying to move people off the spot? Right here, we go downhill. We want to get on this double, and we're just position blocking. And so your all-pro running back has nowhere to go. He's got to cut back. Too many people home. And again, what a great job he does of making people miss, jump cutting, all of that, and ends up getting a 4 or 5 yard gain on something. But there's not the room or the margin for error is so small when you're position blocking like that. And we'll contrast this with watching what the Eagles are doing. And the Eagles are not perfect by any means, but just trying to stay square down the field and trying to stay on track is such a big deal in this game. It's something a couple of our guys just don't do very well. Now, this kid right here, he got benched in the 3 holds. And I'm actually pretty bullish on this kid. He battled pretty well. Now, his hands are terrible, and he got caught for holding. One of them was kind of a BS call, and I think the other one was downfield. But his hands are outside. But he's fighting against good players. This is kind of a good on good thing. He's staying on track. The guy redirects, he directs, he doesn't stop moving his feet. He ends up making a great play here and gives Josh Jacobs a hole to run. Now, is it perfect? No. Did he get benched? I mean, did he get the holds? Absolutely. But again, you're kind of projecting for the future and guys that might be able to play and things like that. Guy stepped in an impossibly difficult situation and didn't get physically dismantled. Had some technical errors that, quite frankly, with the lack of reps and everything, it is to be expected. He reads his keys so fast. This is one of those where you're going, okay, they saw this on tape. And I know we have the orbit motions, the reverse orbits, and this and that and the other thing. And I think and we talked about this last week. There's only so much new stuff you're going to put on, and these guys are going to find keys. I mean, this is exactly what we talked about in the preview show. So Zach Baum here, I don't know whether he's seeing the guard pull. I don't know if he's reading the tight end. I don't know if he's reading the double, but he hits this thing fast. I mean, he's gone and runs right by Tucker Kraft, gets in on the play. That's a fantastic job. Ends up being a 6-yard loss. So the talent's there on this team. And listen, we're going to go into this offseason. We can talk about it later. Do you need a true number one wide receiver? Do you need a better offensive line? What are the compliments you need on offense? The talent's there for the most part. Do you probably need some of those things, somebody to emerge here? Absolutely. But you have so many injuries, and Christian Washington gets hurt, Romeo Doubs gets hurt in this game, Jaden gets hurt in this game. That part of it's certainly been frustrating and difficult for the people in that room. But this kid, if you're just looking for football players, this kid's one of them. Build around this kid. Good run. 1st and 20 there, picks up 20. So this is one of the holds. So first of all, Rasheed do a better job of not getting bowled back. Listen, playoff game, in the pocket, exiting the pocket to the left. This is just one of those calls you're going, come on, man, really? Like, that's what we're calling? Just garbage. Like, the kid's struggling enough. Like, you don't need that call. You don't need that call. Up top, I love this. So we usually run this out of the backfield. Most teams run this out of the backfield. So this is Josh Jacobs up here. So we go empty. And they usually run this. So they're just going to run a clear out on the sideline with the first tight end. Second tight end is going to go up the seam. And then they're just going to run this, usually a Texas route. The Texas route is essentially like a V. So he's going to run out to the left and put his left foot in the ground and then go back to the middle of the field. They just break it from there. Linebacker doesn't even see him coming. Great pickup. Fun scheme. What a year this kid had. So Josh Myers gets beat backside here. And, I say that. The guy runs himself out of the play. What a run by this guy, though. Such a fun player to watch. I mean, really, there's a handful of guys in the league that you just get your popcorn ready. He's one of them. Fantastic. So we got a drop over here, a looper on the right side, and these guys are single blocking. 93 had himself a day, and then Nolan Smith gets another one. Gets a stab on Rasheed, and to be fair to Rasheed, he probably gets to recover from that if we don't flush him out of the pocket. But consistently, when there was a guy that had to win a one-on-one on the Eagles' defensive line, they were able to win that one-on-one. And then this play, look, for me personally, and this is his third pick, and I know here's what happens. You get after the game, you throw this ball. There's no way you're completing this pass. And the safety's pointed the wrong direction. So, you get it, but this just doesn't – it's 1st and 10. There's 20. There's 2 minutes left in the ball, or more than 2 minutes left in the ball game. Like, you have an opportunity to make a play here. And unfortunately, you let this go, and what happens is it goes on your permanent record. So now you've had a game where you had 3 picks, no touchdowns. Next time you get into the playoffs, that's what they're going to be talking about. Hey, your last game, you threw 3 interceptions, blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately, he might say he doesn't care and you have no conscience, but that's the narrative. And when were you worth the contract? Did you make progress this year? What do we need on offense? Blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff plays in the narrative now because there's just too much information out there to talk about. So that is one of those plays, along with the Wicks one, where the whole narrative of how Jordan Love played this game could be different given those 2 plays.